sige, sit down. Let's get started. Eddie, nag-assess ka na? Sa, ano? Eddie, nag-assess ka na sa agri-damage? Nag-assess ka na yung agri-damage kung ano yun? Saan yung mabigas?
Dito sa lahat naman ako sa naman.
Okay. All right. Good afternoon, everyone. Well, as you can tell, we are here for the situation briefing on the effects of Julian here in Ilocos Norte, but I think we will also be touching upon some of the other provinces. We just came from Gabu to look at the damage that was caused by the river close to the mouth of Laoag River. And there are other damages that we have to deal with. We will first hear a briefing from a report from the from PINE. Govmat, if you would like to proceed with that.
Good afternoon to everyone. Maraming salamat. Thank you for coming, most especially, of course, to our President Bongbong Marcos Jr. For the sake of time, I will not greet everyone one by one, but of course, all of our dear secretaries, our USECs and ASECs, and of course, our congressmen, our vice governor, our mayors, and our uniformed personnel. Unang-una po, we will run through some of the most essential stats. As you can see, we had a total, of course, in 2 days of Julian, September 29 and October 1, of almost 750 millimeters of rainfall in 2 days, roughly. And to contextualize that, the projection for the month of September was 413, so almost 2 times the monthly projection in just 2 days. Next slide, please. We had 3 deaths, 2 due to drowning, and 1 was a heart attack in the evacuation center. The total number of families affected was almost 35,000 families. And for a breakdown of this, next slide, please. This is the number of affected families, all of which were over 1,000. Some of this data, of course, will change or may need to be verified as data is still coming in. But ito po ang nakikita po natin na most affected towns sa probinsya ng Ilocos Norte. This particular place, unfortunately, was in Batak, in Biloca. I actually coordinated with the DPWH sana to help us. No? Lubog na lubog po itong bahay, and this row of houses po sa Biloca, Batak. And we had 8 totally damaged houses and almost 300 partially damaged houses. Here's the totals of current damage as we've assessed. The upper half is infrastructure, divided into DPWH projects po, mostly in D2, as you can see. And the third item is our provincial roads and infrastructure. And the last one is from NIA. So the bulk of these projects are from DPWH. It seems to be dikes are the main type of infrastructure affected. Total of 638 million po. Our agricultural damages are extremely heavy and painful as well. of course, even more painful sa ating mga kakailian at sa ating mga kababayan, almost 351 million for a total of almost a billion pesos po of total damages for Ilocos Norte, and we expect this to still rise. In terms of the specific areas, ito po ang mga worst hit: infrastructure, Vintar. This one was already rectified with landfill thanks to Mayor Richard and some local contractors and DPWH, of course, which this was fixed with basically lupa lang ang linagay in this area, so it was passable. This is a seawall in Bangi that I brought to the attention also of DPWH na mukhang medyo malapit po sa aming dagat. Kaya I asked RD Ronel Tan, let's take a look, no? Kasi madami pong mga seawall na it looks like may not be suitable, no? Kasi masyadong malapit po sa beach. So I hope we can take a look at this po. We can siguro breeze through. Sige lang po, next slide po. Solsona, a road that was ongoing, not finished, and was damaged. Ito po ang Pagudpud. So coastal po.
Oh yeah, I know where that is.
Thus far, the PGIN has distributed about 14,000 food packs in partnership with our mayors. And from our count, the mayors have also given an additional almost 5,000. So most of our kakailian have been covered, of course, with food packs, since I think we're on day 4, no? Now. All right, next slide, please. Of course, what we need, additional food packs po sana. Mobile water filtration systems would also help. We requested rice also from OCD, and who also sent us non-food items. We saw that, of course, many of the evacuees ended up in schools and evacuation centers and barangay halls, but lacked sleeping materials. No? So ito pong mga kumot, sleeping kit, hygiene kits. Cash assistance, of course, would be first and foremost sana. No? Ito pong mga AICs natin, cash for work, tupad. I thank Secretary Rex for always being extremely responsive and helping Ilocos Norte directly. We're very fortunate to have Secretary Rex, not only us, but the entire Philippines. Maraming salamat po. And of course, Sec Kiko also, Laurel, we discussed yesterday what we can do for our farmers. Thank you also to Sec Kiko for minding me and replying to us here in Ilocos Norte. Maraming salamat po. And I think this is our last slide po. Of course, agriculture, as I mentioned, payouts for those covered by PCIC, but also for our magsasaka na hindi po, na uninsured po. They will need our help as well. Inputs, and of course the damage infra, the irrigation was also highlighted earlier. The infrastructure long term, of course, needs to be fixed, and as Mr. President mentioned earlier in the chopper, we really need to take a hard look at the siltation in our river systems. Of course, it's difficult with the scale of the siltation, but slowly but surely, in President Marcos Jr.'s words, we have to start and make progress. I think that wraps it up. Meron pa ba?
All right.
That's it, and I'd just like to thank, of course, as well, all of the uniformed personnel, the Marines, the PNP, the Coast Guard, the Army, the BFP, who saved many, many lives this past week. Taos puso po kaming nagpapasalamat sa kanila. Of course, all of our mayors and all of our first responders and my colleagues here po, my PJN family. Maraming salamat po.
Thank you, Gov. Now we'll hear from Secretary Ben-Hur for the DILG sit rep.
Mic test. Good afternoon, Mr. President. Of course, to our Governor Manotoc, Congressman Marcos, Congressman Barba, to all the officials of Ilocos Sur and Ilocos Norte. Just to add to what the Governor said per our report. Next, please. Lahat po ng local chief executives, wala pong umabsent, wala po nasa labas ng bansa o nasa Maynila. All of them in both Ilocos Sur, Norte, and La Union, lahat po talagang sila nag-manage nung lugar po nila, nung bagyo. So makikita po natin dito sa slide. Next, please. In Ilocos region, makikita po talagang grabe ang sinanata ng baha such that the provincial government has to declare a state of calamity and cancellation of classes and work. And as stated, there were 3 deaths here. In the evacuation center at the height of the typhoon, 1,395 families were in the evacuation center for a period of approximately 3 days. Next, please. Sir, ito, baka kulang pa ito. Ito lang na ng aming mga field officers, more or less roads, bridges, school buildings, and estimated cost of damages. And I would like to congratulate the officials dahil tama po si Governor. From day 1, next, talagang they were on top of things. Talagang nag-distribute na kagad sila ng mga pagkain po at umikot po lahat po ng mga mayors at lahat po ng opisyales ng Ilocos Norte. Ganun din po sa Ilocos Sur. Sa Ilocos Sur ay there were 16 evacuation center affecting 237 families for 3 days. There were cancellation of work, classes, and the damages to roads and bridges. 11 were impassable, not passable, and 1 bridge impassable, not passable. Suspended the seaports and flooded areas. There were 18 areas in 3 cities that were flooded in Ilocos Sur. So in summary, ito po mga priority needs. Anyway, na-explain naman po kanina ni Governor po ito. At Ilocos Sur, it's more of agricultural support. That's all, Mr. President.
All right. You have slides here for Region 2. Kasi Cagayan Valley, meron ding malaking naapektuhan ng mabuti.
Yes.
Well, there's the Batanes, which we already did.
Yes, sir. Ito sana i-report ko kanina about Batanes. Okay, I'll just skip.
Well, yeah, we have
I'll
that.
just
All
skip
right.
Batanes, Mr. President. I'll go straight to Cagayan. Let's go straight to Cagayan, please. The slide in Cagayan. Okay. So, ito po ang damage and impact, no? Sa Calayan Island, there are priority
Calayan
needs
Island,
for health, food, wash, shelter, protection, and others, no? So sa health, it's a shortage in medicinal supplies due to suspended inter-island travel, medicines and vitamins. Food, ang kailangan po is 3,000 food packs, no? This is as of 6 p.m. October 3, no? Shorted in food supply due to suspended inter-island travel. Wash is all functional. Okay. Shelter, no? 57 households with damaged housing units in status. So ang kailangan po nila is housing assistance for rehabilitation and upgrading. So agriculture, status, 70% of rice, flowering stage, and high-value crops were damaged. Medyo malaki po, 70%. Yes, sir. So ang kailangan po nila is agricultural subsidy for survival and recovery this planting season. So ito po ang national government response effort. Of course, si Secretary Rex, no, and OCD and the LGUs, nakalagay po rito mga ginawa po nila. So halos 10.4 million ang binigay ng DSWD, OCD 5.2 million, LGUs 3.2 million, and the NGOs 2.9 million and other partners.
All right.
Family assisted were 14,247 families, sir, in Cagayan.
Okay. Thank you, Sec Benher. We move now to the response report on the responses.
Yes,
Sec,
Mr. President.
Rex.
Mr. President, I'll skip the first two slides because that's been covered by Sec Benher and Governor Matt.
Oh, yes.
I'll go back. I'll go straight to the last slide, which is the third slide. It's a bit small, Mr. President, but for Ilocos Norte, we've released, as of yesterday, 15,757 family food packs. We continuously work with the local officials because we're ready to deploy more, Mr. President, as mentioned a while ago. For the region and for Ilocos Norte, we have a standby of around close to 100,000 family food packs before the storm hit. And we are constantly augmenting that. So the request of the province for more food packs, we'll work with them on that, Mr. President. It's ready and it's in our warehouses for deployment. As for the request for the cash assistance, as mentioned a while ago, Mr. President, the moment we get the list from the LGU, we can also start processing your instruction to release cash assistance.
All right. Well, yung mayors no, alam ng mga mayor kung anong gagawin. So yun ang, I think sa food pack naman, in terms of food packs, we are
Okay, sir.
we have the proper amount.
Yes, sir. We have more than enough, sir, to keep on
we should be
going.
Okay. Now that's right. So the next part is going to be the cash assistance, so that the households can be the ones to decide how they will spend their money and what are their needs. Okay. That's it from sa bagay. We're all up to the levels that we need to be, no? In terms of food packs, in terms of cash assistance. Wala pa dito yung mga iba na yung sa DOLE at saka yung sa ibang agencies.
Sir, this is purely for DSWD.
Yeah, I understand. No, but even in the wala, because there was for Tupad, there was a request for Tupad. Anyway, we'll deal with that when we get back to we'll get back to money, because also they haven't been able to assess yet, and then to make the listing for again the mayors will have to be the ones to do that. Okay. All right. Thank you, Secretary Rex. Ayan, Manny, Sec Manny Bonwan will give us.
Thank you,
dito
Mr.
marami
President.
tayong infrastructure damage at
Thank you, Mr. President.
both regions.
As far as let me start with the national roads, Mr. President, because as a matter of protocol, in terms of calamity like this, we wanted to clear anything, clear out all the national roads to provide access to the calamity areas, actually. And I'm very glad to report, Mr. President, that there has not been any major damage along all the national roads in regions 1, 2, and CAR, except that there were actually soil collapse and fallen trees that were removed and cleared actually in 2 days' time. So everything was cleared, Mr. President, and there was no major bridge that collapsed at this point, Mr. President.
Wala tayong nakitang problema when we were flying.
The only problem that we encountered, Mr. President, is actually yung mga diking systems that have collapsed actually.
Meron mga na-erode na ilang lugar na nakita natin.
Yes, Mr. President.
Wala nang support yung
If
kalsada.
may yung tinanlaan natin yung first slide kung nandiyan dyan, yung Gabo o yung first slide kung nandiyan dyan pa. Yung first.
Taas pala ng tubig sa sarat.
Anyway, I think the only problem, Mr. President, as far as the roads is concerned, is actually yung that we are still trying to clear out is actually the Ilocos Norte Apayao Road. For now, it's actually one lane passable for some sections.
Anong damage?
Yung mga soil collapse and some erosions.
Yeah,
in some
that's the
areas.
one that we...
That's
yung,
what I-
yung picture yung sa helicopter, yung pinakita mo sa akin.
Yes, Mr. President.
Ito mga...
Mga yun.
landslide.
This is now in the...
Yung sa clearing, meron pang naiwan? O
meron pa, sir. Meron pa.
Where?
Meron pa because We will really, I think we should be able to clear, clear everything in 2 days'
na
time.
naman, Bintar,
Yes.
Pagudpud,
Adams.
usually Adams. The road up to Adams is closed.
Next slide.
No,
please.
it's
Flood control.
it's passable,
There
but
is the
they
one in
needed to
Pintar.
clear it.
Yeah. Yeah, we saw this.
We also noticed in, if I may po, in Vintar and Bangi that some of the base for the dike and also the bridge was lupa, no? It was basically earth and
Yes.
sand. So I think that was one of the causes kasi syempre the water can wash away that. No?
Next slide, please.
Itong Panshan Adams this is just landslide, no?
Yes, Mr.
The
President.
road is okay.
Yes, Mr.
Yeah.
Ito yung mga typical damages along the diking system. This is in Bintar. The Bintar flood control program actually malaki yung damages din doon.
Ito, payas na nga ako. Ito,
Anyway, at this point in time, Mr. President, we are now in the process of validating all the damages so that we can come out with the cost, the real cost of restoration that we have agreed with OCD to work out anytime soon, Mr. President.
Ito, Bintar. Yung flood control na naman sa Bintar. Bakit ang daming nasira na sa flood control?
Many of these,
matagal na itong mga ito eh. They survived many
many years ago.
typhoons and floods already before. Bakit?
Ito yung mga, these are the dikes that were built long time ago, yung
Yeah.
mga karamihan, Mr. President.
Yes.
So,
Well, they're just
we'll just have to rebuild them in a new way.
how can we avoid this kind of damage kung magkaroon ng similar typhoon ulit? Because before sa mga typhoon hindi nasira ito eh. Panahon ko pa ito eh. Itong mga ibang slope protection dito. Ito, matibay naman na pag nagbabago hindi naman nasisira. Ba't kaya nasira ngayon?
I think, Mr. President, there are two things, there are phenomenon. Actually, kasi baka nag-overflow kasi yung water and brings up the dun sa other side.
Okay.
Because of silted na yung riverbeds.
Yeah, that's the other thing.
Silted yung riverbeds.
Yeah.
So there is a tendency for the water to overflow. And when it comes back, doon ho na-erode yung
puro yung
roadside.
yung dikes, river protection, slope protection. Alright. Yun ang gusto ko malaman, what changed? Why did these survive before? Now, why did they not survive? What is, may yung sa dami ng tubig?
At that time, siguro, Mr. President, the riverbeds are actually the
That's
capacity.
the thing, you know?
And it is the
Well, that's
drainage, the
That's the
capacity was
conclusion we all came to because ang gulat ko nung lumilipad kami, grabe na pala ang siltation dito. We have to do something. Matt will figure something out. I'll talk to whoever we can talk to who can help us because when I don't remember the rivers being that shallow before. I've never seen them this shallow. In all the time that I spent here in Ilocos. And they've been silted for a long time. May puno na eh. So hindi talaga na-dredge. I think that's the main problem that we're facing is a siltation. And that's what's causing all of this damage that we are seeing. That's the root. I think that's the root problem. That's the one that we have to attend to. Okay.
Yeah, I hope we can work with DNR and DPWH for this large-scale dredging po. di ba?
Eto,
What we've been working
Tangdagan
on.
dito, inaita, kaming gumawa nito eh. This was fine for a long time. We built this together with the bridge. I remember.
Our
All right.
program in the department, Mr. President, is to acquire more of the dredging equipment now. Yeah, we have included in our program for 2025 again for the acquisition of dredging equipment. There are actually sabo dams upstream that have been
so
built.
there's all the way up to.
Now we have to
Soxona.
clear also the sabo dams now. We have to desilt also the sabo dams so that
Yes.
mag-increase
But
din
we should be doing that regularly because that's a natural occurrence dun sa Sapo
Yes,
Dam.
yes,
Umiipon talaga yung buhangin sa ano.
Yes, Mr. President,
Yeah.
yes, that's true. We have to clear out the debris that has already been trapped into the sabo dams so that it has already actually
Sabagay, the Sabo Dams are already what?
Nako, panahon
May 15 years na yan.
panahon mo, sir.
Oh. Ah,
Panahon
I
mo,
was
sir.
still
yan.
governor.
Panahon mo yan.
So mga 20 feet, more than 20 years na yun. Oh, kaya kailangan talagang linisin na.
Maybe we can work it out with local governments as well, Mr. President,
Yes.
to do the desilting.
Yes, we used to do the cleaning. Panghinayan, all of these things that we built. Ito sa Ilocos Sur is mostly landslide.
Yes.
Walang damage masyado.
Wala, sir.
Oh. Ilocos Sur.
Just clearing out.
Meron ding erosion. Pero hindi masyadong mabigat ang damage sa Cervantes. Okay. Now, I think the big ticket item is going to be the agri. So, Sekiko, maybe
Mr.
you can
President,
give us your... Yes.
just before you proceed, I just wanted to thank Sec Manny Bunuan regarding what we spoke about earlier. Actually, sir, yung mga solar lights na na-install mo sa distrito ko, nung naputol yung kuryente, habang ongoing yung relief operations, kahit madilim na, wala nang araw, ay naituloy pa rin nila dahil naka-on pa rin yung mga solar lights. So a lot of the families that were stranded were able to be rescued even in the middle of the night. So I just wanted to thank the DPWH on behalf of the First District. Maraming salamat po.
Good. All right. Iko?
Mr. President, regarding agriculture, next, please. Next slide, please. Next slide. So, this is a bit data from yesterday, so let me just update it. Affected families from 13,000 yesterday, we have counted already 15,300 families affected. Hectareage pala. The 13,000 hectares ang tinamaan, but with chance of recovery as of yesterday, today it's 15,304. For affected farmers, 20,000 yesterday, today it's 26,461. Then yung volume loss yesterday was computed at 19,000 metric tons. Today we stand at about 21,000 metric tons already. And the value lost was from 481 million pesos yesterday. Our estimates today are 516 million pesos, of which, if you can see in the left top ring, 72% of the loss or the damage would be rice. High-value crops with small corn would be 7.43%. Next slide, please. So, yan yung sa corn naman is 559 hectares. But total value lost estimate as of yesterday is 35, a little bit more today, but maybe
These are
almost
for
40.
regions 1 and 2.
This is only for the colored, yes, yung Ilocos and Cagayan. Based on the map. So each one would have the
Oh, okay.
marker where the reports are coming from, sir. High value crops, wala masyado. Next, please. Then for livestock also, the computation is only about 500,000 pesos. And for irrigation, Yung data ni GovMat is much higher, but our data as of yesterday is 92.6 million, and mostly in Cagayan and some Isabela and some Ilocos Norte. Next slide, please. Anyway, these are just details. Tuloy.
Ano ito?
Tuloy,
Farmers.
please.
Ito yung
Next.
kailangan natin.
Next. Yes, irrigation systems.
Oo. We have
So ito ho yung mga pictures ng mga tinamaan. Maraming nakadapa ho. But hopefully, umaraw pa ng konti. Baka yung iba may tumayo ulit at may konting recovery tayo, sir. Next, please. So yung flooded areas yan, total damage, sir. Next, please. Ito naman yung actions taken and interventions to affected farmers. Yes. Next slide, please. So basically, these are just what we are doing right now. Next slide, please. So a total of 164 million worth of agricultural inputs are ready for distribution for rice, corn, and vegetable seeds from the regional DA field offices. Then 25,000 loanable amount from the Survival and Recovery Sure Loan Program of the ACPC, payable in 3 years at zero interest, so ready to deploy. And yung ating PCIC crop insurance indemnification. So ongoing, sir, yung ating damage assessment, and I have instructed our PCIC to expedite, hopefully after 2 to 3 weeks, maka-issue na sila ng indemnification checks to our farmers. Then sa request kanina ni Governor na 2,000 sacks of rice, kung wala yun sa OCD, I have instructed by text just a while ago yung NFA to release to your next, yung sa livestock dispersal, we have some livestock to be dispersed, but we will just need the list from the mayors and the governors kung ano yung nawala, so that hopefully we can replace them as soon as possible. Next, please. So basically yun lang, sir.
Okay. So this is the agricultural damage. Yun sa Batanes is the structures, no? That's what we will have to look after. Dito agri talaga ang naging malaking damage. Anyway, we have anong stage na ng palay in the season?
Unfortunately, it's harvesting stage
Oo
na.
nga, it's already October eh.
Yes, sir.
Mag-mill na kami.
1 week na lang yata,
Mag-mill na kami
harvest
next month, by January.
So yung 12,000 tons, 12,000 hectares yung na-affect din.
How much palay was destroyed? Kahit in hectareage or value?
Volume would be about 15,000 tons.
15,000 tons.
Yes, sir.
Malaki. Oh, well, we'll have to assist those farmers. Nawala yung ano nila. Nawala yung planting season nila. They lost one planting season.
Yes, sir. What's important lang now is they have to be able to replant as soon as possible. And we have the loan amounts of 25,000 per farmer na pwede mabigay from ACPC, and of course the indemnification from
Okay.
and of course the free seeds and the fertilizers and everything.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
All right. Thank you. Thanks. Thank you, Kiko. Okay. Well, from the reports that we are being given, I think that the response is sufficient. We will continue, of course, to provide assistance as the days go on, and as long as it's still needed, both from the DSWD, but of course the crop insurance na kailangan natin i-process, and then the cash assistance that's being. So I think we're all right in terms of the response for both Region 1 and 2. The conclusion that the biggest conclusion I can arrive at after flying around is the siltation. We have to think. Every town basta't may ilog, may problema ang siltation. Ngayon ko lang nakita na ganun kababaw ang mga ilog dito. I've never seen them that shallow. Kaya talagang wala pang 1 meter na lang sa ano eh. Wala nang 1 meters doon sa
ilalim ng tulay.
doon sa dike eh.
Sa ilalim ng tulay.
At saka it's a terrible, it's everywhere. And it will take us a long time to fix that problem because there's so much of it. Anyway, maghahanap ako ng mga makakatulong sa atin. I will talk to some of the big companies who specialize, who are doing this. Maybe we'll have to import equipment from China, from Taiwan, wherever, para yung malalaki. We have San Miguel may bago silang machine na napakalaki eh.
That's a big one.
Baka bagay sa atin yun. Oo, baka pwedeng ilagay dito yan. And then I think your idea, government, of chopping up the areas so that everyone, we can assign already somebody for each area. So halos sabay-sabay. It'll be almost sabay-sabay. That's the thing that we have to do now. All right. Okay. I think in terms, at least for the response, we will still have to assess. Hindi pa ito final. Itong mga nakikita natin, it's not yet final. We will still have to assess further in the agri. Pero yung mga displaced persons dito, wala na, nagbalikan na lahat, no? Do we still have people in the evacuation center? No more. Okay. O yun, so that is, pero meron pa rin, they will still need food packs kasi nakikitira yung iba dyan. But I think most of them will probably be back already in their own homes. Yeah, ang core problem nito is the siltation, and it's a big problem, and we'll have to do something about it. Okay. Are there any other reports anybody has that we should be hearing? Okay, thank you very much.
Sorry, if I may add very quickly lang po. There's also concern, I think, with some of the box culverts. Maybe some of the mayors can attest to this.
The box culverts?
Yeah, sa DPWH po.
Why?
It's, paminsan daw maliit, no? Ang box culvert for the drainage.
Like where?
We had multiple wherein the water is not able to pass, no? Kasi paminsan masyadong maliit po ang box culvert. And then if I may add lang very quickly also, Laoag International Airport, we also need a hangar for chopper for relief operations. So maybe General Romeo Bronner and Sec Gibo, Teodoro, baka you could help us po. We're trying to budget for this next year so we can house an actual chopper sa amin po. Because whenever we have a calamity, we have to wait for the chopper pa po from Manila.
We
or
have the
Clark,
EDCA
so.
site,
Yes, Mr.
in
President.
Cagayan.
Plus the tactical
Then the
operations
tactical
group
operations
1
group,
is
oo.
transferring from Baguio to Laoag.
Because it's just a response time that we have to.
Yes, sir. And the prepositioning of air assets, we need a hangar, sir, for that.
Because we always have isolated areas po that we can't reach via land, so the chopper really helps po, that we're able to drop goods for those in
But
need. po.
the water has gone down sufficiently that there
Now
are
it's passable
there are
na, yeah. Everything is-
So where the usual Solsona, Vintar, the
Yeah.
usual places that always get
Adams,
isolated.
Pidig,
Well, Adams because of the road.
Yeah.
Adams itself doesn't get flooded. It's just that the road gets
The road, yeah.
landslide.
But a lot of our barangays become isolated with
Yeah.
the water. Yeah. Right,
So no more
also, yeah.
isolated barangays, okay. Even here in Laoag, di ba? Hanggang Riweng nagsasara sa Riweng. All right, okay. So again, any other matters? If there are none, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. President. for your guidance, and that concludes our situation briefing. At this juncture, may we call on Ilocos Norte Governor Matthew Marcos Manotoc to receive the check worth 100 million pesos as financial assistance from the Office of the President.